I want to wish you a warm welcome at the Faculty of Law of the University of Vienna, where you are giving a lecture today, thank you for that, on the invitation of my dear colleague Peter Lewisch. There have been some discussions in the forefront of this lecture, and for example an open letter demanding that the University of Vienna should cancel this lecture since, as we know, there are a lot of discussions concerning the politics in the Middle East, and especially the politics of the State of Israel. I do not want to take any position in that discussion, but to say one thing clear. A university, and especially a faculty of law, is to be a place of free speech, where also especially controversial opinions can and should be expressed and discussed. And that opinion I want to express as my personal opinion. It would be a total wrong sign, and it would be wrong in itself if we would not allow the Minister of Justice of the State of Israel to express her view here in Austria and at the Faculty of Law, given the history of Austria and the history of the University of Vienna in the 30s and 40s of the past century. So once again, a very warm welcome, Mr. Keaton.
Dear guests, Excellency, I would like to introduce today's speaker to you in a more formal sense. We have an extraordinary person, and we are very much looking to the active exchange of views on these subject matters. So, Your Excellency, the floor is yours. A warm welcome.
Thank you very much. Actually, for me, it also wasn't that easy to come and speak in the University of Vienna. Personally, I must confess, I've never been in Austria till I was elected to a minister, and it wasn't a coincidence. I thought it's not a place to do a vacation because of the history, but after I was elected and met some of the Australian ministers and Austrian ministers and parliament members, I decided to come and visit, and actually I enjoyed very much, and I think that after really so many years it's good to have an open dialogue. So thank you for the warm hospitality. Actually I will give a short lecture, I prefer more to do an open discussion. I would like also to hear the view of the student here on many topics, so I will start with a short lecture and then we will move to open discussion. You can ask me any question you want. In Israel, unlike in Austria, we have an adversary system, legal system, and there is ongoing conflict between the judicial system, the government, and the parliament. I just heard that your Supreme Court canceled the election for the presidency, and I was in shock actually. And I thought to myself, oh, okay, they are also very activist, it's not only in Israel. And so there is ongoing tension between the government, the parliament, and the judicial system. I am the head of the committee that select judges. In Israel, the system is that there is a committee of 9 members, representative of the government, of the parliament, of the Bar Association, and of the Supreme Court, and they choose, we are choosing the judges. Next week, we have a very important meeting because we are going to select 4 judges out of...
Sorry for interrupting you.
No interruptions, please. No.
It's the most
Government in Israel. And your colleague, Naftali Bennett, said, I killed many Arabs, and there's no problem. And he is not only your party colleague,
you are a guest. You are a guest in here.
Can you sit down and let us speak?
And your government is responsible for the killing of thousands of Palestinians in the Gaza Strip and the massive destruction of
because you're interested
infrastructure in the Gaza Strip. Yes,
without knowing
this
the
is a
fact.
fact. And you as a
So
minister of...
I'm offering
You are
as a
responsible
speak
direct for
and
house
listen
demolition,
to the facts.
for collective punishment,
You
and
want to listen for facts?
house demolition in Israel, in the Negev and in the north. That's
This is
so-called
not the behavior.
unrecognized,
This is
so-called
not the behavior.
unrecognized
This
cities.
is not the behavior. Sit down.
I think you should
I
ask
say
for
you're not
the
welcome
first
here.
from the government of Israel, and then from the people of
This is not
Israel.
Australia,
So
this is Austria, you know.
after 75 years, continue
Please tell
with
me.
lies. So
Please tell the audience
I
something
really
about your
think that
active
you
service
should
in the Golani
ask
Brigade.
sorry, not from me, but from the people of Israel.
Nein, nein.
It is not your word now.
She's part of the most racist.
Can you
Collective
stop disturbing?
punishment is illegal. Is illegal.
Don't disturb.
Collective punishment, house demolition is illegal in Israel
Don't disturb.
and
Can you
in the West
please
Bank.
stop
It's illegal.
disturbing?
Nein, kommentieren.
Thank you.
And
Okay,
this event promotes.
I'll continue, it's fine.
This
You
event
have a
promotes
topic of
racist
9 members.
policies.
Those 9
Yes.
members selecting the
And
Supreme
this
Court
event want to
judges.
legalize
And next week we are going
house
to
demolitions,
select
collective
4
punishment,
judges
and institutionalized torture of prisoners. Last week, your newspaper Haaretz said that
Constitutional Court and
institutionalized torture in Israel.
das Recht zu filmen, nein, alles nicht, haben Sie ja nicht.
Or activists. It's an ongoing discussion. It's a
Your
very
talk
hot
is
topic.
ignorance about human rights.
And
You
also
want
it's
to
also
eradicate
very-
human rights in Europe and also in the world.
In Austria,
You want
Germany,
to eradicate
France, and
human
all.
rights standards in Europe. Sorry, I have to say this. This is a fact. We can
I
talk
really
about
feel
your
sorry of
active
you,
service
really,
in the Golani
that
Brigade.
you are, after
How many
75
Arabs
years,
do you-
continue with
have
the
you
lies
killed?
that you are reading in the
2,
media
4, 10,
and trying to
uncountable,
promote
all like
the lies.
Naftali Bennett,
I just
no
feel
problem.
sorry of you. Pity, mainly.
Sorry.
Okay. Now we start in German. It sounds better in German.
Ich bitte Sie, mir zuzuhören. Ich bitte auch der Audience, mir zuzuhören.
Okay.
Meine Einwilligung
So there is ongoing tension between the judicial system and the parliament and the government. Next week is a very unique week because we are going to select 4 judges out of 15 for the High Court. And the Supreme Court in Israel is only one. We have a very strong and professional High Court that actually do everything, both with the constitutional issues and with the appeals. Actually, they are having 10,000 files a year, and it's very, I would say, unique system. A very good example of the ongoing tension between the High Court, the Parliament, and the government, actually, like in every other country, is the law that the Knesset legislated 4 years ago or 5 years ago, a law that dealing with the illegal immigrants. So the Knesset in Israel, there was a situation in which 60,000 illegal immigrants came from Africa, from Sudan and Eritrea through the southern border to Israel. And we legislate a law, something that we copied mainly from Australia, that if an illegal immigrant is coming to Israel, we can put them in a detention center for 3 years. The Supreme Court cancelled the law. The Knesset, the Parliament, legislated again for 1.5 years. We softened the law. Then the Supreme Court cancelled it again, and we legislated again for 6 months, which is actually like in all the rest of Europe, that if an illegal immigrant is coming, you can put him for a detention center for 6 months. And it's create a high tension between the court and the government, but of course we are doing what the court is saying to do. We softened the law, and actually we succeed to stop the illegal immigration by the law and by a fence that we built in the southern border. Now, I met your Minister
During the
of Justice.
2014 Gaza war, you posted an unpublished piece by the late right-wing journalist Ayelet calling for war against the entire Palestinian people. These are your words, including quote,
It was
quoting
not
you.
my words.
It was words that you
Again,
posted on
another lie that you
Facebook.
said to the
It's
public
elderly
and
women in
yourself.
it's elderly
It was
women in
not
cities,
my
it's
words.
villages, it's
But you
property,
can
and it's
continue lying to
infrastructure.
yourself. It's fine.
It was words that you posted in a Facebook status. I'm going to take that as an
Okay,
endorsement of these words. This is
the
your quote.
fact that
The Palestinian people has declared war on us, and we must respond
by
with
putting
war.
a fence in the
Not an
south
operation, not a
and
slow-moving one,
a
not
law
low
against
intensity,
illegal
not
immigration
controlled escalation,
was a huge
no destruction
success,
of terror,
I would say.
terror and destruction,
And
no
people
targeted killing.
all over the world
Enough
are
with your
coming
Greek
to
references.
Israel to study
This is a war.
how to do
It
it.
is not a war against terror, and not a war against extremists, and not even a
Yesterday
war
I met
against
your
the
Minister
Palestinian
of Justice
Authority.
and I
These two are forms
gave
of
him
avoiding
an
reality.
English version of a law against terror. It took us 7 years to work on this law in the Israeli parliament. It's a law that the government submitted to the parliament, and for 7 years there were discussions regarding this law. And the thing that I will say the most difficult thing is, and a question that I think most now of the Western country deal with, is how to keep a strong democracy on one hand and fight the terror on the other end, when sometimes the terrorists are also citizens of the country. And this is a huge challenge for any Western country.
איילת שקד, אני אזרח ישראלי ואת קוראת לפעילי BDS פעילי טרור. I'm an Israeli citizen and you are calling BDS activists, the one who demand the basic rights of Palestinians, the ones who demand that Israel will respect its obligations under international law. You call us, people like myself, terrorists. Shame on you. Shame on you and shame on the university that is hosting you. Shame on Magna that is sponsoring this event. I will come in a moment. Israel is a criminal apartheid state. Apartheid is well defined under international law. Apartheid is a crime against humanity. Let me take my stuff. Apartheid is a crime against humanity. Some people even accuse Israel of committing the crime of genocide, especially in Gaza. According to a recent UN report, by the year 2020, Gaza will become uninhabitable. This is what this Minister of Justice is responsible for. 95% of the water in Gaza is toxic. It is not fit for human consumption. Israel is formulating formulas to count the caloric intake for people in Gaza. And you are saying that people here remind you of something? Obviously they remind you of something. What does counting the caloric intake of people in Gaza mean to you? Shame on you and shame on the university. Shame on Magna for sponsoring this event.
That a country can use, and we are using it very in a delicate way, on a cases that from intelligent perspective, we don't want the country doesn't want to take a specific person to a trial because the country doesn't want to expose material that is a material that had been given by the intelligence. But to take someone to administrative detention, in Israel, what we did is we show all the material to the judge, and also the person can take a defender, and the judge approved to put a specific terrorist to administrative detention. It's a very severe tool, but we are doing it from time to time, again in a very specific cases. Another question that we are dealing with, and I know that a lot of Western countries dealing with, I just heard that France and Australia...
I do not apologize for interrupting you again, but you are a representative of a racist apartheid regime. And it's outrageous that the University of Vienna is giving you the place to say you're racist and apartheid things. Yes, it's outrageous. And You shouldn't be there. You are not welcome in Austria. You are not welcome in Vienna. You are the representatives of a racist regime. You are practicing apartheid. And I don't accept it. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Shame on the University of Vienna for inviting you, a representative of the apartheid regime. No apartheid. Free Palestine. Free Palestine.
Territories under I see that you are recording what I'm saying. If you could just send it to my spokesman afterwards, I want it also. So it's territory it's territory under almost 500,000 Jews who are living there, Israeli citizens, and about 90,000 Arabs. Area C in the future should be part of Israel, and of course the Arabs there should get full citizenship and all the rights like I have.
You do know, by the way, that the criminal, the person who is violating every law in the law book, especially international law, is up there. This is the person you should be arresting now. She is responsible for some of the worst crimes that are regarded as crimes against humanity, apartheid, possibly even genocide, and she's just up there being posted as a distinguished lecturer in this distinguished university. So after you're done with me, please go there and arrest her. And I would be very happy to see her in court, in international tribunal, not in an Israeli court that she's supervising.